The message arrived at the Galactic Council station during the quiet hours. Lights flashed red across the communication hub as the emergency signal bypassed normal channels. The Council's night staff rushed to their stations, screens lighting up their concerned faces. Priority 1 distress call from the Iridian system, announced Minho, the senior communications officer. His six-fingered hands moved quickly across the control panel. They're requesting immediate military aid. The main screen flickered to life, showing the thin, pale face of an Iridian. Their large, dark eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of extreme stress in their species. "This is Ambassador Sora of Iridia Prime," the figure spoke, voice trembling. "The Vorn Collective has attacked our outer colonies without warning. 3 worlds have fallen. Millions are dead or missing." The ambassador's breathing became shallow. "We have no military to speak of. Please, the Council must send help before they reach our homeworld." The recording ended, leaving the command center in stunned silence. "Wake the High Council," ordered Minho. "This cannot wait until morning." 6 hours later, the 12 members of the High Council gathered in the emergency chamber. Representatives from the most powerful species in the known galaxy sat around a circular table, their faces grim as they watched the Iridian distress call for the 3rd time. Council leader Junho, a tall, blue-skinned diplomat from the Sadie Alliance, spoke first. "The Vorn have violated our peace treaties. This attack on the Iridians cannot go unanswered. The Iridians need immediate help," said Representative Doyen of the Proxima Confederation. "But who can we send? Our peacekeeping forces are spread thin across 3 sectors dealing with the meteor crisis. What about the humans?" suggested Representative Jiwoo. The room fell silent as all eyes turned to her. "The humans?" Junho's voice carried clear doubt. "They only joined the Council 3 years ago. They have no experience in galactic conflicts. But they have military capabilities," Jiwoo insisted. "And they come from Earth, a Class 12 death world." Murmurs spread around the table. Everyone knew about death worlds, planets with such harsh conditions that life there evolved to be incredibly tough and resilient. Earth was among the most extreme, with its high gravity, wide temperature ranges, dangerous wildlife, and unpredictable weather patterns. "The humans might be our only option," said Doyen thoughtfully. "The Vorn have never faced Deathworlders before." "It's too risky," argued another council member. "Humans are unpredictable. Their history is filled with internal conflicts. How can we trust them with an interspecies crisis?" Junho raised a hand for silence. "We have little choice. The Iridians will not survive without help, and the humans have been eager to prove themselves as council members." He turned to his assistant. "Contact Earth's United Defense Force immediately." On Earth, General Una Park stood at the window of her office in Seoul, watching the sunrise over the mountains. 20 years in military service had not prepared her for becoming humanity's representative to alien civilizations. Yet here she was, leading Earth's first interstellar defense force. Her communication panel chimed with an urgent tone, the special frequency reserved for Galactic Council messages. "General Park speaking," she answered, straightening her uniform. The holographic image of Council Leader Junho appeared before her. "General, the Council requires Earth's assistance in a matter of grave importance." Una listened carefully as Junho explained the Iridian crisis and the Vorn threat. Her mind was already calculating response times, troop requirements, and equipment needs. "The Iridians are peaceful scholars," Junho continued. "Their physiology is adapted to a low-gravity, stable environment with minimal natural threats. They have no natural defenses against the Vorn." "And these Vorn," Una asked, "what can you tell me about them?" "They are a collective species, insectoid in nature. They strip planets of resources and move on. They've never attacked Council worlds before, but they've destroyed several unaligned systems in the outer reaches." Una nodded. "Send me all the data you have on both species and the affected star systems. I'll assemble a response team immediately." After the call ended, Una pressed the emergency alert button on her desk. Within minutes, her top officers filed into the conference room. "Ladies and gentlemen," she announced, "Earth has received its first call for military aid from the Galactic Council. The Iridian people are under attack, and we're the only ones who can help them." Captain Jiho Kim, her best tactical officer, leaned forward. "What are we looking at, General?" Una displayed the information from the Council on the main screen. The Iridians evolved on a world with 0.6 Earth gravity and minimal environmental hazards. They're physically fragile by our standards but highly intelligent. The Vorn are resource hunters with a hive mind structure. So we're sending troops to protect these Iridians? Asked Major Yuna, head of the Special Forces Division. Yes. This will be humanity's first combat mission beyond our solar system. Yuna looked at each officer in turn. I need our best people. This mission will define how the galaxy sees humans for generations to come. The Vorn have never encountered humans before, noted Captain Jiho. That gives us an advantage. They won't know what we're capable of. Exactly, Yuna smiled. And what we're capable of might surprise everyone. 3 days later, Captain Jiho Kim stood in the hangar bay of the UDF Dauntless, Earth's newest military transport ship. Before him stood 100 of Earth's finest soldiers, men and women selected for their combat experience, adaptability, and psychological stability. You've all been briefed on the mission, Jiho began, his voice carrying across the bay. The Iridians are facing extinction. We have been asked to prevent that from happening. He activated the holographic display showing images of the tall, slender Iridians and their beautiful crystal cities. The Iridians have never known war. Their world has few natural disasters, minimal seasonal changes, and no large predators. They evolved as peaceful scholars and artists. The display changed to show the Vorn, dark, chitinous creatures with multiple limbs and compound eyes. The Vorn, on the other hand, are resource hunters. They strip planets bare and move on. They've already destroyed 3 Iridian colonies. Sergeant Deho stepped forward. Sir, with respect, why us? The Council has thousands of worlds. Surely some must have proper military forces. A fair question, Jiho nodded. The answer is simple. We're Deathworlders. A murmur ran through the assembled troops. Most Council species evolved on worlds far more forgiving than Earth. They don't have our physical strength, our endurance, or our adaptability. To them, we're the tough ones. Jiho smiled slightly. We're the scary aliens. This brought a few chuckles from the troops. The Council is sending us because we can survive conditions that would kill most other species. We can fight longer, harder, and in environments that would incapacitate the Iridians or even the Vorn. Lieutenant Sunmi, the team's xenobiologist, added, the Iridians can't survive in temperatures below freezing or above 30 degrees Celsius. They need special breathing equipment in atmospheres different from their own. Even Earth's gravity would crush their bodies over time. Our mission is to reach the Iridian homeworld and establish defensive positions, Jiho continued. We will train any willing Iridians in basic defense and prepare for the Vorn attack. Intelligence suggests we have about 2 weeks before they reach the main planet. He looked at the determined faces before him. Farmers' sons and daughters, city kids, people from every corner of Earth, all now representing humanity among the stars. This isn't just about saving the Iridians, Jiho said quietly. This is humanity's chance to show the galaxy what we stand for. Are we just another violent species, or are we protectors? The choice is ours to make. The soldiers stood straighter, pride evident in their posture. Prepare for departure in 6 hours. Dismissed. As the troops dispersed, Jiho turned to look out the hangar bay window at Earth below. Humanity had dreamed of the stars for centuries. Now they were among them, about to fight their first interstellar war. He hoped they were ready for what waited in the darkness between the stars. The UDF Dauntless cut through the darkness of space, its engines glowing blue against the black. Inside, Captain Jiho Kim studied the holographic map of the Iridian system. 5 planets circled a yellow star, with the 3rd planet, Iridia Prime, marked in urgent red. Final approach in 6 hours, Captain, reported the pilot, her eyes focused on the controls. Jiho nodded. Wake the response teams. I want everyone ready and briefed again before we arrive. In the ship's large training hall, 100 Earth soldiers gathered. They wore the new adaptive combat suits designed for off-world missions, lightweight armor that could adjust to different atmospheres and temperatures. Each soldier carried standard weapons, plus special equipment for the Iridian environment. Lieutenant Sunmi stepped onto the raised platform. As the team's xenobiologist, she knew more about the Iridians than anyone else on board. Let's review what we know, she began, activating a life-sized hologram of an Iridian. The figure stood nearly 7 feet tall with a slender body, 4 long arms, and pale blue skin that seemed almost translucent. Its head was oval-shaped with large, dark eyes and no visible nose, just breathing slits along the sides of its neck. Iridians evolved on a world with low gravity, about 60% of Earth normal. Their bones are light and hollow, similar to birds on Earth. Their muscles are designed for precision, not power. Sunmi pointed to the Iridian's chest. Their lungs are 3 times the size of ours, adapted to their oxygen-rich atmosphere. Sergeant Deho raised his hand. How strong are they compared to humans? The average Iridian can lift about 10 kilograms with each arm. Their bodies would break under the strain of anything heavier. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Many soldiers could lift 10 times that amount. What about the Vorn? Asked another soldier. Sunmi changed the hologram. The Iridian disappeared, replaced by a dark insect-like creature standing on 4 legs with 2 arm-like limbs ending in sharp claws. Its head featured compound eyes and clicking mandibles. The Vorn are a hive species. They communicate through chemical signals and have a shared consciousness. They're stronger than Iridians, but still weaker than humans. Their exoskeletons can stop small projectiles, but not our weapons. Captain Jiho stepped forward. The Vorn have numbers on their side. Intelligence reports suggest a force of several thousand. They've never encountered humans before, which gives us the element of surprise. He activated a map of the main Iridian city. We'll deploy in 3 teams. Alpha Team will secure the city center and government buildings. Beta Team will establish a defensive perimeter. Gamma Team will train any Iridian volunteers in basic defense tactics. Sir, called out Corporal Mina, what about the gravity difference? Will we be able to move normally? Good question, Jiho nodded. In Iridian gravity, you'll feel lighter, like you've lost 40% of your weight. This gives us another advantage. You'll be able to move faster, jump higher, and carry more equipment than you could on Earth. Lieutenant Sunmi added, but be careful. It's easy to misjudge movements in lower gravity. The first day will require adjustment. What about the Iridians themselves? Asked a young soldier from the back. How do we know they'll accept our help? Jiho's expression grew serious. The Iridians are scholars and artists. Their society values knowledge and beauty above all else. They've never developed weapons because they've never needed them. Until now, he paused. They may fear us at first. We look different, move differently, and come from a world they would consider hellish. It's our job to earn their trust. Remember, Sunmi added, to an Iridian you are incredibly strong and durable. A friendly pat on the back could break their bones. Always move slowly and speak softly around them. The briefing continued for another hour, covering details about Iridian culture, language, and the layout of their cities. When it ended, the soldiers broke into their assigned teams to check equipment and review specific objectives. In the armory, Sergeant Deho inspected his pulse rifle. The weapon had been modified for the mission, set to lower power to avoid damaging the crystal structures of Iridian buildings. First time fighting bugs? Asked Corporal Mina as she checked her own gear. Deho nodded. First time fighting anything not human. My grandfather fought in the water wars. He said knowing your enemy was half the battle. Well, these enemies have 6 limbs and hive minds, so I'd say we're in new territory. Mina smiled, but her eyes remained serious. I joined the UDF to protect Earth. Never thought I'd be protecting aliens on a distant world. Same goal, different location, Deho replied. These Iridians can't defend themselves. If we don't help them, no one will. Across the room, Medic Junho packed specialized first aid kits. The Iridian biology is so different from ours, he muttered. Their blood is clear like water. Their hearts are in their heads. How am I supposed to treat them if they get hurt? You'll figure it out, said Lieutenant Sunmi, appearing beside him. Their medical database has been loaded into your tablet. Besides, your main job is keeping our people healthy. What about their environment? Any nasty surprises waiting for us? Sunmi shook her head. Iridia Prime is actually quite pleasant by human standards. Temperature ranges from 15 to 30 degrees Celsius. No dangerous predators. No extreme weather. The air has more oxygen than Earth, so you'll feel energetic. Maybe even euphoric at first. Sounds like paradise, Junho remarked. That's why they never evolved defenses, Sunmi said quietly. They never needed to. On the bridge, Captain Jiho reviewed the final approach with his command team. The holographic display showed the Iridian system in detail, including the positions of the 3 destroyed colony worlds. The Vorn fleet was last detected here, said Communications Officer Hyun, pointing to the system's outer edge. They appear to be regrouping after their last attack. How long until they reach Iridia Prime? Jiho asked. Based on their previous movement patterns between 10 and 14 Earth days, Jiho nodded grimly. Not much time to prepare a defense. Sir, said Tactical Officer Yunha, I've been studying the Vorn attack patterns. They're methodical, almost predictable. They surround a target, jam communications, then land ground forces while their ships provide cover. Standard invasion tactics, Jiho noted. Yes, but with a weakness. Their ships maintain constant communication with ground forces. If we could disrupt that link, the hive mind would be fragmented, Jiho finished, seeing where she was going. Good thinking, Yuna. Develop that idea into a tactical plan. The ship's AI announced, approaching Iridian space. Local authorities requesting identification. Open a channel, ordered Jiho. He straightened his uniform and faced the communication screen. This is Captain Jiho Kim of the Earth vessel Dauntless. We are responding to your request for assistance from the Galactic Council. The screen flickered, revealing an Iridian face. Its large eyes widened at the sight of the human. This is Defense Minister June of Iridia Prime. We were told help was coming, but the Iridian seemed at a loss for words. We understand this is an unusual situation, Jiho said calmly. My team is prepared to assist in defending your world against the Vorn threat. The Iridian blinked rapidly. You are humans from Earth? Yes, Minister. 100 of our finest soldiers equipped with advanced weapons and tactical experience. The Council said they were sending help, but they did not specify. Minister June's voice trailed off. That they were sending Deathworlders? Jiho finished with a slight smile. We understand your concern. I assure you we come as allies. After a moment's hesitation, the Iridian nodded. We have prepared landing coordinates for your vessel. Our situation is desperate, Captain. 3 of our colony worlds have fallen. Millions of our people are dead or missing. The Vorn show no mercy. Neither will we, Minister, Jiho replied, his voice firm. We'll be on the ground in 3 hours. Please have your leadership ready to meet with us. We have little time to prepare. As the communication ended, Jiho turned to his team. They're scared of the Vorn and of us. We need to show them they made the right choice in asking for help. The Dauntless continued its approach to the beautiful blue-green world of Iridia Prime. On board, 100 humans prepared to defend a civilization that had never known war, against an enemy that had never known defeat. Earth's Deathworlders were about to change the course of galactic history. The UDF Dauntless descended through Iridia Prime's atmosphere, breaking through clouds that shimmered with purple and gold. Below, a vast city spread across a valley, its buildings made of crystal and a metal unknown on Earth. The structures caught the light of the yellow sun and broke it into thousands of rainbows. It's beautiful, whispered Corporal Mina. Looking through the viewport, Captain Jiho nodded. Remember, we're here to protect this beauty, not destroy it. The ship landed on a wide platform at the edge of the city. As the engines powered down, Jiho addressed the troops one final time. Move carefully. Speak softly. Remember that to the Iridians you are incredibly strong. A handshake could break their arms. A friendly pat could crack their ribs. Be gentle. The main door opened with a hiss, revealing the alien world. The air that rushed in was sweet and rich with oxygen. The gravity immediately felt different, lighter, as if invisible hands were gently lifting them. Captain Jiho led the way down the ramp, followed by his command team. The rest of the soldiers remained in formation behind them, weapons secured but ready. Waiting on the platform was a group of Iridians. In person, they were even more striking than in the holograms. They stood nearly 7 feet tall, their slender bodies swaying slightly in the breeze. Their skin ranged from pale blue to soft purple, with a slight glow that seemed to come from within. 4 long arms hung from their narrow shoulders, ending in hands with 6 delicate fingers each. Their large dark eyes watched the humans with clear apprehension. One Iridian stepped forward, wearing a flowing robe decorated with symbols. I am Defense Minister June. Welcome to Iridia Prime. His voice was musical, like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Captain Jiho stopped a respectful distance away and bowed slightly. Thank you for your welcome, Minister. I am Captain Jiho Kim of Earth's United Defense Force. We have come to help. The Iridian minister studied the humans with obvious curiosity and fear. You are smaller than I expected. A few of the soldiers suppressed smiles. On Earth, most of them would be considered average height. Size can be deceiving, Jiho replied diplomatically. We bring experience and capabilities that will help defend your world. Minister June gestured with his upper right arm. Please follow me to the council chamber. Our leaders are waiting. As they walked through the city, the humans couldn't help but stare. The buildings rose hundreds of feet into the air, connected by delicate bridges that looked too fragile to support weight. The streets were wide and lined with plants that changed colors as they passed. Iridian citizens stopped to watch the procession, their large eyes filled with wonder and fear at the sight of the humans. They look at us like we're monsters, muttered Sergeant Deho. Lieutenant Sunmi walked beside him. To them we are. Think about it. We come from a world with crushing gravity, deadly predators, and extreme weather. Our bodies evolved to survive conditions that would kill an Iridian instantly. Still feels strange to be the alien, Deho replied. They reached a large circular building in the center of the city. Inside, a grand chamber awaited them, with a round table surrounded by tall chairs. Seated in these chairs were 12 Iridians, each wearing different colored robes. The High Council of Iridia, announced Minister June, our governing body. Captain Jiho and his command team took the seats offered to them, careful not to break the delicate furniture. The rest of the soldiers remained standing along the walls. An elderly Iridian with pale green skin spoke first. I am High Counselor Yuna. On behalf of all Iridians, I thank you for answering our call for help. Her voice trembled slightly. Though I must admit, when the Galactic Council said they were sending assistance, we did not expect your kind. You expected soldiers from worlds similar to your own, Jiho said, understanding their surprise. Yes, Yuna admitted. We have had little contact with species from high-gravity worlds. That's exactly why we're here, Jiho explained. The Vorn have never faced humans before. They won't know our capabilities or limitations. That gives us an advantage. Another counselor leaned forward. We have seen the recordings of what the Vorn did to our colonies. They are merciless. Their numbers are vast. How can just 100 of you stand against thousands? Lieutenant Yuna stepped forward, activating a holographic display from her wrist device. By using strategy rather than matching numbers, may I? At the council's nod, she expanded the hologram to show a map of the city and surrounding areas. The Vorn attack in predictable patterns. They surround, cut communications, then land ground forces while their ships provide cover. Yuna pointed to key locations around the city. We will establish defensive positions here, and here. We'll set up early warning systems in the outer atmosphere. Most importantly, we'll train your people in basic defense tactics. Train our people? A younger counselor sounded shocked. Iridians are not warriors. We are scholars, artists, healers. With respect, said Sergeant Deho. Everyone can learn to defend their home. Captain Jiho nodded. We don't expect Iridians to fight like humans, but there are many ways to contribute to defense. Operating early warning systems, providing medical support, maintaining communication networks, all vital roles that don't require physical combat. High Counselor Yuna considered this. How much time do we have? Based on the Vorn's current position and speed, between 10 and 14 days, replied Jiho. Not much time, but enough if we work quickly. The council members exchanged glances, communicating silently in the way of their species. Finally, Yuna spoke again. We accept your help, Captain Jiho. What do you need from us? First, a complete layout of your city and surrounding areas. Second, volunteers for training. Third, access to your technology and communication systems so we can integrate our defenses. It shall be done, Yuna agreed. Minister June will provide whatever you require. As the meeting concluded, an Iridian child darted into the chamber, evading the guards who tried to stop it. The young Iridian, barely 4 feet tall with bright blue skin, ran directly to Captain Jiho and stared up at him with enormous eyes. Are you really from the Deathworld? The child asked, voice filled with wonder. The council members gasped at the breach of protocol, but Jiho simply knelt down to be at eye level with the child. Yes, I am, he said gently. My world is called Earth. Are you as strong as they say? Can you really lift mountains and breathe fire? Jiho laughed softly. I'm afraid those are just stories. I can't lift mountains or breathe fire, but humans are strong in our own way. The child reached out one slender finger and poked Jiho's arm. You're so solid. Like stone. An adult Iridian rushed forward, all 4 arms reaching for the child. Taman, you must not bother the Earth humans. I apologize, Captain. Children are curious by nature. No apology needed, Jiho smiled, standing up. Curiosity is good. It leads to understanding. As the child was led away, still staring back at the humans in wonder, Minister June approached Jiho. You handled that well, Captain. Perhaps there is more to Earth humans than stories of strength and endurance? We're more than just Deathworlders, Minister, Jiho replied. We're people who have learned that survival often depends on working together. June nodded thoughtfully. Then let us work together to survive what comes next. Outside the council chamber, the soldiers of Earth began their preparations. They had 10 days to ready a peaceful species for war, 10 days to transform a city of scholars into a fortress, 10 days before the Vorn arrived to finish what they had started. The clock was ticking. 7 days passed quickly. The crystal city of Iridia Prime transformed under the guidance of Earth's soldiers. Defensive barriers now surrounded the city center. Early warning systems monitored the skies. Communication networks had been reinforced against jamming attempts. Captain Jiho stood on a high tower, watching Iridian volunteers train with Lieutenant Yunha. The tall, slender aliens moved awkwardly as they practiced taking cover and operating simple defensive equipment. They would never be fighters. Their bodies simply weren't built for combat, but they were learning to support those who could fight. They're trying their best, said Minister June, joining Jiho on the observation platform. Though I fear it may not be enough. Every bit helps, Jiho replied. Your people have surprised us. They learned quickly. We have always valued knowledge. Now we must learn skills we hoped never to need. June's large eyes looked toward the sky. Our long-range sensors detected the Vorn fleet entering the outer system this morning. They will reach us in 3 days. Jiho nodded grimly. We'll be ready. Below them, Sergeant Deho was demonstrating how to set up a shield generator. A group of Iridian scientists watched closely, their forehands moving with surprising speed as they took notes. Your sergeant is very patient with our people, June observed. Daiho was a teacher before he joined the military, Jiho explained. He understands how to share knowledge. Across the city, other human soldiers worked alongside Iridians. Some installed defensive systems. Others converted public buildings into emergency shelters. Medical teams trained Iridian healers on treating combat injuries. There is something I do not understand, Captain, June said after a long silence. Why did your people agree to help us? We have nothing to offer Earth in return. We are not a wealthy world by galactic standards. Jiho considered the question. Humans have a long history of conflict on our world. We've fought each other for thousands of years over resources, beliefs, territory, but we've also learned that our greatest strength comes from protecting those who cannot protect themselves. So this is redemption for past sins? June asked. No, Jiho shook his head. It's evolution. We evolved on a harsh world where cooperation often meant survival. Helping others became part of who we are. A young Iridian approached them, moving with the quick, graceful steps of their species. Captain Minister, we have detected unusual activity in the Vorn fleet. They appear to be accelerating. Jiho's expression hardened. They're coming sooner than expected. How long? At their current speed, they will reach our orbit in 36 hours. They know we're here, Jiho realized. They must have detected our ship or our defense preparations. He activated his communication device. All teams, this is Captain Jiho. The timeline has changed. Vorn arrival in 36 hours. Complete all preparations and move to alert status. Minister June's hands trembled slightly. We are not ready. We never would have been fully ready, Jiho said firmly. But we have advantages they don't expect. Get your people to the shelters. It's time for us to do what we came here to do. 36 hours later, the skies above Iridia Prime darkened as the Vorn fleet entered orbit. 50 ships, each shaped like a giant insect with sharp, angular wings, positioned themselves around the planet. In the command center established beneath the city, Captain Jiho and his team monitored the situation. Iridian technicians worked at stations alongside humans, their slender fingers moving rapidly across control panels. Their jamming standard communication frequencies reported communications. Officer Hyun, just as expected, switch to our backup system, ordered Jiho. The humans had anticipated this move and prepared alternative communication methods. Vorn ships are launching landing craft, announced Lieutenant Yunha, pointing to the tactical display. I count over 100 vessels, each capable of carrying 50 Vorn warriors. 5,000 ground troops, Jiho calculated quickly. Heading for these 3 landing zones. He highlighted areas on the city outskirts. Just where we predicted, Sergeant Deho noted with grim satisfaction. The traps are ready. Jiho turned to Minister June, who stood nervously nearby. Minister, take the final evacuation teams to the central shelter. From this point forward, this is a combat zone. June hesitated. Captain, I wish to stay. To observe. My people should know what was done to defend them. After a moment's consideration, Jiho nodded. Stay behind the tactical officers. Do not interfere. Outside, the Vorn landing craft broke through the cloud layer, their engines glowing red against the darkening sky. As they approached their landing zones, hidden sensors detected their presence. Zones A, B, and C reporting Vorn approach. Called out a human technician. Activating defensive measures in 3, 2, 1. Across the designated landing areas, the ground suddenly erupted with electromagnetic pulses. The invisible waves disrupted the Vorn ship's navigation systems, sending dozens of craft spinning out of control. Some crashed into each other, others veered off course, crashing into empty fields outside the city. First wave disrupted, reported Yuna. 60% of landing craft affected. They'll adapt quickly, Jiho warned. Prepare for ground engagement. The Vorn that survived the landing gathered quickly, their insect-like bodies moving with eerie coordination. Standing on 4 legs with 2 arm-like limbs ending in sharp claws, they stood nearly as tall as the Iridians but were much more heavily armored. Their chitinous exoskeletons gleamed darkly in the fading light. They're forming attack groups, observed Sergeant Deho through a drone feed, moving toward the city from 3 directions. Just as we planned, Jiho nodded. Alpha Team engage southern approach. Beta Team take the east. Gamma Team hold the western perimeter. Across the city outskirts, human soldiers moved into position. Despite being outnumbered, they had several advantages. The lower gravity of Iridia Prime allowed them to move faster and carry heavier weapons than they could on Earth. The oxygen-rich atmosphere gave them greater endurance. Most importantly, they had spent a week preparing the battlefield. The first wave of Vorn reached the southern perimeter. They moved in perfect unison, like parts of a single organism rather than individual creatures. As they approached the seemingly undefended boundary, the ground beneath them suddenly collapsed, dropping hundreds into hidden pits filled with quick-hardening foam developed by Iridian chemists. Southern trap successful, reported Alpha Team leader. Approximately 300 Vorn immobilized. On the eastern approach, the Vorn encountered a different surprise. As they advanced through a narrow pass, hidden sonic emitters activated, broadcasting frequencies that disrupted the chemical signals the Vorn used to communicate. The hive mind connection faltered, causing confusion in their ranks. Beta Team seized the opportunity, opening fire from concealed positions. Their pulse rifles, modified to penetrate Vorn exoskeletons, cut through the disorganized aliens with devastating efficiency. Eastern approach contained, reported Beta Team. Vorn forces retreating to regroup. In the command center, Minister June watched with wide eyes. They're winning? Against such numbers? For now, Jiho cautioned. The Vorn will adapt. This is just the first wave. As if confirming his words, the tactical display showed the Vorn ships in orbit repositioning. Energy readings spiked as weapon systems came online. They're preparing to bombard the city, warned Yunha. Our shields won't hold against a full orbital attack. Jiho's expression remained calm. They're following their standard pattern. When ground forces meet resistance, they resort to orbital strikes to soften defenses. He turned to Communications Officer Hyun. Is the package ready? Hyun nodded. Ready and waiting, Captain. Execute Operation Hivebane. High above the planet, a small stealth craft that had been hidden in Iridia's moon orbit suddenly activated. Piloted by Lieutenant Sunmi and a small team, the craft had been waiting for this moment. As the Vorn ships clustered together to coordinate their attack, the stealth craft approached the largest vessel, the command ship. Target in range, Sunmi reported over the secure channel. Deploying package now. The package was a specially designed virus, created by combining Earth's most advanced cyber warfare technology with Iridian knowledge of communication systems. As it entered the Vorn command ship systems, it spread rapidly through the hive mind network that connected all Vorn ships and warriors. In the command center, Everyone watched the tactical display as the Vorn ship suddenly began moving erratically. Some powered down completely. Others fired weapons in random directions, sometimes hitting their own vessels. "It's working," breathed Hyun. "The virus is disrupting their hive-mind connection." On the ground, the effect was even more dramatic. Without the coordinating influence of the hive mind, the Vorn warriors lost their perfect synchronization. Some froze in place, unable to act without direction. Others moved chaotically, attacking anything nearby, including other Vorn. "All teams, press the advantage," ordered Jiho. "Drive them back to their landing zones." The human soldiers moved forward, methodically clearing areas of confused Vorn warriors. The battle that had seemed impossible to win just hours before was now turning decisively in their favor. Minister Jun stared at the tactical display in disbelief. How did you know this would work?" "We studied how the Vorn operate," Jiho explained. "Their greatest strength, their hive mind, is also their greatest weakness. Cut the connection and they lose what makes them dangerous." As the day ended, the skies above Iridia Prime cleared. The remaining Vorn ships, those still capable of flight, retreated from orbit. On the ground, thousands of Vorn warriors were captured or neutralized. The battle was over. The Deathworlders had won. The morning after the battle, Iridia Prime's 3 suns rose over a changed world. The beautiful Crystal City still stood, though some outer districts showed damage from the fighting. In the central plaza, Iridians emerged from shelters, their large eyes blinking in the sunlight as they surveyed their saved world. Captain Jiho stood with his command team atop the city's highest tower. From this vantage point, they could see the aftermath of yesterday's battle. The landing zones where the Vorn had arrived were now containment areas, with force fields keeping the surviving invaders secure. "Final casualty report," Lieutenant Yunha said, handing Jiho a data tablet. 12 human soldiers wounded, 3 seriously. No fatalities. Iridian civilian casualties minimal, mostly from the initial bombardment before we activated the shields. "And the Vorn?" Jiho asked. "Approximately 2,000 captured. Another 1,000 retreated with their remaining ships. The rest," she didn't need to finish the sentence. Jiho nodded solemnly. "Have the medical teams check all wounded, human and Iridian. Priority to the serious cases." "What about the Vorn prisoners?" asked Sergeant Deho. "They're still dangerous even without their hive-mind connection." "Keep them contained until the Galactic Council sends representatives," Jiho ordered. "This is beyond our mission parameters now." Minister Jun approached, accompanied by the High Council members. The Iridians moved with a new confidence, their steps more purposeful than before. "Captain Jiho," Jun began, "the High Council wishes to express our deepest gratitude. You and your soldiers have saved our world and our species." High Counselor Yuna stepped forward. "We have lived in peace for so long that we forgot the galaxy contains those who do not share our values. You have reminded us that sometimes one must stand firm against aggression." "We did what we came to do," Jiho replied simply. "You did far more," said another counselor. "You showed us that strength can protect rather than destroy. That warriors can be defenders rather than conquerors." Yuna gestured toward the city below, where human soldiers and Iridians worked side by side, clearing debris and repairing damage. "Look at our peoples working together. Who would have imagined such a sight just days ago?" "Necessity creates unlikely allies," Jiho observed. "Perhaps more than allies," Yuna suggested. "The Council has voted unanimously to request a permanent human presence on Iridia Prime. A small defense force if your government agrees." Jiho raised his eyebrows in surprise. "That would be unprecedented. No Earth forces have been permanently stationed on another Council world." "These are unprecedented times," Jun said. "The Vorn may return. Other threats may emerge. We have learned that we cannot remain isolated in this galaxy." "I will relay your request to Earth Command," Jiho promised. "The decision will be theirs." A young Iridian technician rushed up to the group, all forearms moving in excitement. "Minister!" "High Council, we're receiving a priority communication from the Galactic Council." Minutes later, they gathered in the command center. The large screen activated, showing the blue-skinned face of Council Leader Junho. "Iridia Prime," Junho began formally. "The Galactic Council sends greetings. We have received reports of the Vorn attack and its resolution. Is this accurate? The threat has been neutralized?" "It has, Council Leader," replied High Counselor Yuna. "Thanks to the humans of Earth." Junho's expression showed clear surprise. The humans were successful? Captain Jiho stepped forward. My team engaged the Vorn forces and defeated them using a combination of tactical planning and technological countermeasures. We have approximately 2,000 Vorn in custody awaiting council disposition. 2,000 prisoners? Hunyo seemed stunned. And the city? The population? Largely intact, Jiho reported. Minimal casualties on both sides. Silence followed as Junho processed this information. Finally, he spoke again. This is unexpected. The council estimated that Iridia Prime would fall within days. We had already begun preparations for refugee assistance. Yuna's voice carried a hint of reproach. You did not believe the humans could help us? Frankly, no, Junho admitted. We sent them because they were available and willing. No other council forces could reach you in time. We expected them to buy you time to evacuate, not to actually defeat the Vorn. Captain Jiho kept his expression neutral, though inside he felt a mix of pride and irritation. The council had sent his people on what they thought was a suicide mission. Perhaps the council underestimated what Deathworlders are capable of, he said evenly. Junho nodded slowly. It appears we did. The council will send representatives immediately to deal with the Vorn prisoners and assess the situation. They will arrive within 2 days. After the communication ended, an uncomfortable silence filled the command center. The Iridians looked at the humans with new understanding. They sent you here to die, Minister June said finally, to buy time for an evacuation that would have saved only a fraction of our population. It seems that way, Jiho acknowledged. Yet you came anyway, Yuna observed. Knowing the odds, you still came to help strangers. Sergeant Daeho laughed softly. Ma'am, impossible odds are something of a specialty for humans, especially when someone tells us we can't do something. This broke the tension, and even the Iridians made their musical laughing sound. Come, said Yuna. Our people wish to honor those who saved them. We have prepared a ceremony. That evening, the central plaza of the city glowed with thousands of bioluminescent plants arranged in beautiful patterns. The entire population of the city had gathered to honor the human soldiers. Each Iridian carried a crystal that emitted soft light, creating a sea of colors. The humans stood in formation, their armor cleaned of battle damage, their faces solemn as High Counselor Yuna addressed the crowd. For generations, we Iridians have prided ourselves on our peaceful ways. We believed that violence had no place in an advanced civilization. When the Vorn attacked our colonies, we had no defense. We asked the Galactic Council for help, expecting they would send forces like our own, from worlds of peace and plenty. She gestured toward the human soldiers. Instead, they sent Earth's Deathworlders, beings from a world so harsh that it forged them into something we could barely comprehend. We feared them at first. Their strength, their durability, their readiness for conflict, all these things seemed alien to our nature. Yuna paused, looking directly at Captain Jiho. But we have learned that strength can serve peace, that those forged in hardship can choose to protect rather than destroy. The humans fought for us, not because we could offer them anything in return, but because it was the right thing to do. Young Iridians moved through the formation of soldiers, placing delicate crystal medallions around each human's neck. The crystals caught the light and refracted it in dazzling patterns. These crystals, Yuna explained, are formed in the deepest parts of our world, under great pressure over thousands of years. Like you, they are created through hardship yet bring beauty and light. They will forever mark you as friends of Iridia. Captain Jiho stepped forward to address the crowd. The translator converted his words into the musical Iridian language. On behalf of Earth and the United Defense Force, we thank you for this honor. We came here as strangers to your world, but we leave as friends. Different as our worlds may be, we share something important, the desire to build rather than destroy, to protect rather than conquer. He looked out at the sea of tall, slender aliens with their glowing crystals. Humans have a saying, adversity does not build character, it reveals it. The Vorn attack revealed the character of the Iridian people, your courage, your adaptability, your willingness to learn new ways when necessary. These qualities will serve you well in the future. Minister June joined them, carrying a large crystal sphere that pulsed with inner light. Captain Jiho, this communication crystal will allow direct contact between Iridia Prime and Earth, bypassing the Galactic Council networks. We hope it will be the beginning of a lasting alliance between our worlds. As Jiho accepted the gift, a murmur ran through the crowd. In the distance, lights appeared in the sky, the approaching ships of the Galactic Council representatives. They arrived to witness what they thought impossible, Yuna observed. A Deathworld species that uses its strength to protect rather than dominate. They have much to learn about humans, Jiho replied. As do we all. Later that night, as celebrations continued across the city, Captain Jiho stood alone on a balcony overlooking the plaza. Lieutenant Sunmi joined him carrying 2 cups of Iridian fruit nectar. Quite a day, she said, handing him a cup. First major alien battle in human history, and we won decisively. We did, Jiho agreed, taking a sip of the sweet liquid. But I keep thinking about what the council leader said. They sent us here expecting us to fail. But we didn't, Sunmi pointed out. And now the entire Galactic Council will have to reconsider what humans are capable of. That's what concerns me, Jiho admitted. Will they see us as valuable allies now? Or as a potential threat? Sunmi considered this. Perhaps both. But we've shown them something important. That coming from a death world doesn't make us death seekers. We can be protectors as well as warriors. Below them, human soldiers and Iridians mingled freely, the initial fear and awkwardness replaced by genuine curiosity and respect. What happens next? Sunmi asked. Jiho looked up at the stars visible through Iridia's clear atmosphere. Earth takes its place in galactic affairs, not just as another council member but as a force to be reckoned with. The galaxy now knows what Deathworlders can do. And what we choose to do with that strength will define us, Sunmi added. Exactly, Jiho nodded. They asked for help and got Earth's Deathworlders. Now they'll have to live with the consequences, for better or worse. The crystal medallion around his neck caught the light of Iridia's 3 moons, sending rainbow patterns across the balcony. A symbol of the unexpected alliance between a world of peace and a world of struggle, an alliance that had changed the course of galactic history. The Deathworlders had arrived on the galactic stage, and nothing would ever be the same again.